Welcome to the Comedy Here Often podcast. I'm your host, Kevy. This week on the show, we have Steve Sidi and Mallory Gallant. Are you from Alberta?
I am.
Are you from Alberta?
Me too.
What?
Yeah.
What part?
Woo.
You first.
Calgary?
Medicine Hat.
Yeah.
Edmonton.
Ah.
Oh,
Look at that.
hey.
Look at this.
How about this?
Oh, we started?
Yeah.
Okay.
See, Alexi, you know it's a real
Damn it,
podcast
you're
if
right.
someone asks
You
that.
said
I
that
love
last
it.
time, and
I've
you're
said it
absolutely right.
4 episodes in a row.
Yeah.
And I've been
Yeah.
here for most of this, and still fell for it.
I love being predictable.
Yeah.
Yeah. How'd it go in Medicine Hat? That must have been interesting.
Oh, it was...
Super chill, I bet.
So relaxed,
Super
so supportive.
relaxed.
It's like
Yeah.
being on a cruise ship.
Yeah.
You know, it was just, I got caught somewhere in the Bermuda Triangle, is how I put it. But no, it was fun. I don't know, if anything, it was
You
like,
learned to run real
I,
fast.
I can serpentine like nobody. It's like, if a war were to break out, I'm ready.
What a great term.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
gonna try and use
Not a
that
lot
in
of
a
people get used
sentence.
to it, right? Because there's always like idiots.
He's always so proud of himself when he uses a word
Over his
correctly.
vernacular?
And he'll say a word and then he'll look at
Yeah,
me
He's
like,
as
right?
if like, did I do it?
Yeah.
Is that right?
What was the word? Ubiquitous. I said that once in
Yeah.
a meeting, and I just like slightly looked over to Mallory. I was like, huh?
Yeah.
And you were like,
And I looked at him like, who taught you that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who
Like, are
taught
you
you that
looking
word?
at Mallory like, impressive, or did I use it right?
it's
A little bit of
50-50. Because I'm not quite sure if the first one worked out.
I love that. It's
Yeah.
like a never-ending spelling bee or definition bee.
Yeah. And I think
Yeah.
it makes me very approachable.
That's a thing.
Yeah.
We'll
gotta
make
be a
it,
thing.
We'll make it a thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's got to be a definition. Wait, in spelling bees, don't you have to define the word or use it in a sentence?
You
Those
have to
are
use it
options.
in a sentence.
Oh,
yes.
you can say use it in a sentence so that
So
it can
Steve,
help them.
use ubiquitous
Oh,
in
here
a
we go. The
sentence.
pressure's on.
You know what I love about the word ubiquitous? It's ubiquitous.
Boom. That's how you do that. Beautiful.
We did have to do spelling bees, but I was like, I felt a lot of pressure because I was like the only other East Indian kid in the class, but I was only half East Indian, and the other one.
I
Jillian
felt no
Bass.
pressure. I was just a white person in Calgary.
Okay, but
You know?
your story's funny though because I went public school, which was pretty much run by Mormons, but you went to Catholic school.
Catholic school.
And if you've ever met Mallory, you know she's got questions and opinions. And so I wish
Yeah.
I could have seen the look on teachers' faces when
Ugh.
you just like raised your hand like question.
Oh, yeah.
And they're just like,
Yeah, I found all the loopholes.
Like, were you like correcting teachers on things and stuff like that?
I was usually just that kid, like, they teach us something, and then I was always like, hi, I have a question. And the teacher would just be like, yeah, okay, yeah. Mallory, yeah.
Yeah.
What's your question? And I'd be like, well, you said this
Yeah.
before, but then you said this later, and I'm not sure what you mean. And like,
The through
you say
line-
that you're fine with the gays, but like, are we
Yeah.
allowed to get married?
Yeah.
Like, or do we just like sin as soon as we have sex with each other? Like, how does this work? My teachers were always like, oh, she caught it.
You're like, Mallory,
She caught it
you're in
all the time.
kindergarten.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
These are bold questions
I
for
would've
your
been-
age.
I would have been the worst teacher because I would have been like, just ask for forgiveness. I don't know. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I had one religion teacher that on the way out of the classroom one day, like, stopped me and she was like, I know, okay? Like, I know, but I have to teach it.
Yeah.
So can you just let me teach it?
Yeah.
And I was like, what is happening
right
here?
in my ass, Mallory. Like,
I was like, no.
Yeah,
No.
you're gonna earn your paycheck.
You're up here
Yeah.
teaching us this stuff.
Yeah.
You can't even back it up? No.
well, like ours was public, but it was run by Mormons, so like we might as well been in like a religious school because we couldn't talk about anything, like because
Right.
they would just be afraid of like offending people. And I don't understand because I was just like, if I was one of the Mormon kids, I'd be like, can I leave? Like I would have seen that as an opportunity to not be a part of things, but they were, oh no, they had to take us all down. So.
Oh man, you know what I just thought of is I had a friend in high school who he told me that in first grade his teacher sat the class down and explained that John Lennon was killed by the CIA.
Wow.
I like that
That's
teachers
fun.
can just go unchecked and they're just like sprinkling dirt on the little precious hard drives of children.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, like
Yeah.
not a lesson, definitely not in the lesson plan. Here's
Just
my
an
theories,
opinion.
kids. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you just like leans in. He's like, here's what I think. And I love that. I would be me as a teacher. Yeah, totally. It's
It's like World War II.
yeah.
Yeah.
Dragons.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty
It was
much.
dragons, you know? You're like, what?
I
What?
mean, like, I wasn't there. I mean, I don't know.
I
I don't
Fell
know.
asleep watching Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
then
and now
you
I believe
just
it as
woke
fact.
up and started teaching social class. Yeah.
I saw the best article, and it's one of those ones that, like, it may or may not be true, but it was just, like, apparently, like, a mathematician's just, like, I'm pretty sure everything we published about math is wrong. And I was just like, I wouldn't
am
have
I
known
here?
either way, to be honest.
Yeah.
Like, it was
Yeah, I
all-
don't know how to do math
I don't
anyway.
care. Remember the nonsense they would teach us? I'm like, what?
But
When have
not
you...
like what algebra
Sin cos tan. When have you ever whipped out a sin cos tan?
right now
Yeah, that's a good point.
in
I
this
brought it.
podcast.
Or,
Yeah.
like, you got the calculator, right? Like that dumbass calculator. That
Oh
graph and
yeah,
shit.
the
Like,
scientific calculator, the big gray one,
Thank God I had that. Oh my God.
where
thank
you just
God.
everybody just spelled boob
Oh,
on
yeah,
it all
yeah,
the
yeah.
time.
But then you didn't have to do it like the old-fashioned way. You could really just write text.
Yeah, yeah, 'cause I
you
had
just write
letters.
boop,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
It kind of takes the
The
mystique away.
old-fashioned way.
Just old-fashioned way. You like flip it upside,
upside
down.
down.
Yeah. Then you're like,
Huh? Right?
and everyone would be like, what the fuck would you know about boobs? And I'd be like, shut
like-
up.
Like not much.
Yeah.
How to type it on a calculator.
I know how to spell it.
That's
so yeah, not interested.
I also had a teacher in 8th grade explain to my class that centuries ago people lived for hundreds of years, and we had no Mallory to be like, what are you talking about?
Just
I wish you were there.
yeah.
I love a good
Oh yeah, yeah. I was that kid. I am that adult. I am that person.
Even as an
Excuse
adult,
me,
I think I would
excuse
let
me.
it slide because I want to hear where it goes. Like, yeah. No.
let her
Tell
go.
me what happened.
Let her
Yeah.
go.
You
I
tell
want to
me.
hear this.
Yeah. Do you do that in public? Like if there's an injustice on the bus, someone's wearing their backpack, knocking people, will you be like, hey?
I have been that person from time to time.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I love Vancouver because we've talked about this before. Like, Albertans are pretty direct, pretty like point A to point B people.
Yep.
Where, you know, something happens in Alberta on transit or you're walking or whatever, you just kind of get it out of your system like right then and there. Like,
Yeah.
you'd be like, I don't like you. And they're like, I don't like you either. And you're like, all right.
We have so much in common, actually.
Yeah, fine. Fine. We're here, you know, someone does something like snarky or something, and if you ask them what's wrong or what their problem is, they're like, nothing.
Oh,
Nothing,
just the
right?
passive
It's
aggressive,
so
yeah.
passive aggressive. So I have been that person a few times. Like if someone shoots me, there was this one person on the bus. It was a really packed bus, and we all needed to hang on to something. This bus driver was like over it that day.
They all
He
are.
didn't care if we were like thrown around the bus. He did not care. He was like, good luck. I don't care. And there's this, so we were all like really packed in, and I put my hand up to like, to hold on to one of the poles. I don't know. Is it a pole?
That's the right word.
Yeah, thank you. Cool.
Do you want to define
I just
it? Or?
I just like came straight here from a massage, by the
Yep.
way, so I don't know what's coming out of my mouth right now. So pole is the right word?
Yeah,
Okay.
POOL. Yeah, pole.
Nope.
Public poll.
So close. So close so far. So I put my hand up onto the pool,
Yeah.
pool,
Yeah.
as you spell it, and this girl leaned her head against my hand,
Oh, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And then turned around to glare at me for it. So I was like, hi, you all right?
Yeah.
You okay? And she was like, yeah, why? Like, what? And I was like, I don't know. You glared at me.
Yeah.
What's the issue?
Yeah.
Like, you leaned your head against my
Oh,
hand.
man.
What? We're all just on this bus together.
I love this.
But also,
You
it's
know?
like peak time.
Yeah,
The bus is full.
like,
Everyone's
chill
just
out.
like right here. You're just ready to like go off on.
We're all
someone.
in this together.
Yeah.
Like, relax. And if you want to glare at someone, I
Yeah.
don't know, be like okay with the person being like, hey,
Yeah.
what's your issue? And she was just like, I don't have one. I was like, well, that doesn't.
then
Is that
keep your
just your
eyes
face? Because that's
Because that's unfortunate.
that's
your face.
unfortunate too.
That's your go-to.
Yeah. But yeah. Anyway,
got-
so I am that
I
person
have to
sometimes.
say,
Yeah.
I'm mad at her. Like,
Yeah.
first of all, the pole is to be held, not for you to put your
Not for
fucking
you to
head
lean on.
And the fact that you're mad at Mallory because her hand was there.
I hope
Fuck
she's
yourself.
listening.
You idiot. She's definitely listening.
The Alberta's coming out.
I'm such a maniac that way, though. The injustices really keep me
The
awake at night. where I'll-
entitlement, you
Yes.
know?
I hate it.
I've been like saving like good good like comebacks for like when someone has this one, just so you can set them up. Like if someone says something like, or like, you know, someone gets up and they try and make a big deal about it. Like people do that where they get out of their seats for someone else. And sometimes you don't warn it. Like some people don't
Just do it because you're supposed to do it.
Yeah.
But you
not
just wanna
because
look
you're
around.
like,
Yeah,
you need
right.
it. You don't get a cookie for just like being a good
I love that
human.
saying. You don't get a cookie.
You know?
Sorry.
That's okay.
Get in here.
Yeah.
Get in here.
Usually I'm always getting the note that like you're too loud. So I step away from the mic.
You're
That's
actually-
usually my note to him
Yeah,
too.
it's just
A lot.
multiple notes.
I was just
real-
yelling,
you're real
so
loud.
you're actually in third place right
Oh,
now.
yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
Fun watching the levels.
Yeah, it's good. I can see who's
Fun
most
game.
obnoxious. I am.
Oh, but yeah, so like, so one person, like, even like my roommate, well, sometimes, like, you know, someone, like, I've had so many roommates. I've had like 30 roommates in my life.
He has some good.
I have some weird stories.
Really
Yeah,
weird
like, you
stories.
can't
This
shake
is
me.
a great segment
Yeah.
of this show.
Yeah. But there's like, I've had like
Weird
shitty
roommate
roommates
stories.
where like,
good times.
what was like one, like they took out the garbage and like they just were like expecting the biggest like just reaction and you just want to do the, no.
Like a nice thank you.
You.
Like they expected
Yeah,
you to.
and you just want to do the slow like,
Yeah. Big
like,
deal.
When's a good time
Just
for the
doing
parade
what everybody
for you?
does
like,
all the
is Thursday
time.
good?
Yeah.
Because I booked the police and like
Yeah,
the
yeah,
board,
yeah.
it's like
We
it's
got
a
the
lot.
parade going.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's just so that's what you do for parades, right? You get
You book
police.
the
That's the
police.
first thing I do. Call the police. It's like I have an idea.
and they're like,
book-
stop calling us.
Enough parades, Steve.
Please stop calling us, Steven.
yeah.
No more. No
Steve
more of
just
this.
calls the police to say hi.
Yeah.
It's like
I
you guys are
gets lonely.
underappreciated.
In elementary school,
lonely.
I used to call like I used to go to the principal's office and like call, like, get the poor secretary to call my mom so much to like come get me some days to the point where my mom legit had to have a conversation with the secretary being like, if there is no blood, I do not
want to hear from him.
don't even like nothing. And then she's like, within 1 week, the phone call comes in and she's just like, this is a real
their
piece of
slut.
work of a kid. Like,
yeah.
it's like, what won't he do? Get attention.
I love
I'll take
Steve's
a
mom.
Yeah. Judy.
She's such a no nonsense.
Oh, I
Alberta
wanna meet
mom.
Steve's mom.
She's great.
I realize that's why
Believe
I'm
it.
She does
attracted
not
to
put up with this
nonsense
at all.
She's very contrarian to me. Sometimes I think like, do your parents do that? Sometimes like they just take an alternative opinion because you've stated one, and they're just like,
Yeah.
no, this is too
Just
boring.
devil's
Let's liven it up."
advocate
Yeah.
for fun.
Yeah.
And it's just like, why are you doing this? But then I realized like, I did this to you as a kid
Yeah.
all the time. You're like,
Yeah.
oh, I get it now. Yeah, totally.
Yeah.
I deserve this.
You got
It's
it from
annoying.
Mallory in the classroom.
Yeah.
I would have paid
What up?
money for that.
Religion teachers. They deserved
God.
it.
Matthew V, you can come in.
People lurking.
We're doing a podcast, but everyone wants to see your lovely face.
Yeah.
Good. Enjoyed that.
Matthew, do you have any good day job horror stories or roommate horror stories, or we're just kind of getting into?
I street walk at night, so I work evening shifts.
He said he works evening shifts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's unionized.
Horror stories.
Come sit. Take my seat for a second.
You're not gonna want this.
Hi, this is Matthew V, by the way.
Hello, Matthew V.
Hello, there's not a gaze at the table.
Yeah. Yeah. It's
Day
great.
job horror stories. Am I allowed to say like the,
Do you
like
know?
say the restaurant name that I worked at?
Yeah, sure.
So I used to work at Cactus Club, and my location was primarily male servers, so it was like Cactus Club. And I would always we would work the 90% male shifts in the daytime in Surrey, and I would go around to my tables, and all the time they would be like, "Can we have a lady server?"
What?
All the time, and I'd be like, "Okay, well."
What?
Look around. It's mostly men. I am the closest you're getting to laid this
Yeah.
lunch.
Yeah.
And actually, at this location, we just bring you your food, and you're not obligated to sex with me.
At this location. Yeah.
At this
Yeah.
location. I mean, I can't speak for others because I haven't been there.
It is a franchise.
I'm gonna
Sure.
only speak
Yeah.
on what I know.
Yeah.
And I'm actually just gonna bring you your chicken sandwich.
Yeah.
So I'm probably
That's
not
our
gonna
relationship.
fuck you today.
Yeah.
But if you want to woo me, go for it. So I think that I don't know if that's a horror story, but it's more of just
That's interesting though. I didn't ever think about that happening. They just went. They probably went there because they.
Well, that's what Cactus Club is, though.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
like daytime business meetings for the bros and suits who
Right.
just want to ogle
Yeah.
women and you.
And then
Yeah.
It was like,
Like,
I know,
excuse
and
me.
then I left, but business was so good after, and they were asking for me again. And what can I say? I guess I was in prison. I was the one. Open
Yeah.
hole? I don't know.
Yeah.
That's how I describe you.
Yeah, that's
I'm a label.
I should change my social media bios to the one open hole at Cactus Club.
You should.
You will get a lot of followers. That would really
Steve
help.
will follow you
Yeah.
first. If you change your bio to
Someone
that.
doesn't join in for some kind of endorsement, then they really don't know how to do business.
Yeah, absolutely. I pray that my career shit doesn't go to the tanks because they'll never hire me back. We're going back to Cactus
Look at
Club.
him crawling back.
I will
Yeah.
not go
Biggest
back.
hole in Cactus.
Yeah.
I do not think I could do it. I don't think I'd go back to serving like at a restaurant. Like I just don't think I have it in me anymore.
Yeah.
Those days are gone, yo.
Yeah.
You're dead inside now.
Oh yeah, like I've been like verbally assaulted,
it's-
physically
yeah.
assaulted. I've had like it all happen.
What?
So that's just
Yeah.
that's normal for like most servers. You kind
Which
of go
is so
through it.
gross, isn't
Yeah.
it?
Tell a story, Steve.
Oh.
You have a really, you have a really good roommate story from Toronto. Too.
Oh
I'm
my
just
god.
saying.
Okay. I want to tell that
Okay.
one. That one's
Yeah.
better.
Okay.
Oh no. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, okay. Well, yeah. I'll get back to that one. Okay. So work one. Okay. The best work one was
Thank
I
you,
worked at a
Matthew
place.
B.
Thanks,
you.
Matthew.
Love you, my friend. Speak my truth, man. Love you, my friend.
He doesn't
Off
get a
to
credit on
change
this
his
podcast.
Twitter
I don't
bio. Off to change his bio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It will say biggest hole of Cactus Club.
Yeah,
Cool.
That'll
and they'll
be the-
know. They'll know.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know it is. Yeah, so at work one, I worked at a pizza place on Commercial Drive. I won't say which one, but you can use your imagination. There's only a handful. And so I used to work there. I still get mad to this day when I look at it. Like
Yeah, he does.
I get like a flame, like remember Clue? Flames on the side of my face, breathing hot. Like that's the rage I feel. I
Yeah.
get so mad because the place was so chaotic. It was my first serving job, and I lied on the resume because I just needed a job. So I was like, yeah, I have serving experience. Little did I know it was like a double-edged sword because they were like, we're desperate, we'll take anyone. But I didn't realize because they're so
Here I am.
desperate, that means it's not a great location
Oh.
if they let
Yeah.
anyone just walk in. So
Yeah.
and I think it lasted longer than they thought. But I had like, I once had the kitchen lady. I can't use her name, but she's an old woman. She was like
Kitchen lady.
75 years old or something. She had like angioplasty. Next day, back to work. She's like a gargoyle in
fucking
this.
around.
Yeah, like I think if she stopped moving, she would die. So she can't. She's got to keep the motions. Like,
Gotta keep the blood pumping.
Wait,
Yeah.
what's angioplasty?
it's like you cut into the heart and everything. Like it's like
She
it's
came
like,
back the next day.
That's what I mean.
I think you like. Oh god, we're gonna
Yeah,
sound
I'm not a
dumb right
doctor,
now.
yeah.
You're not a doctor.
I'm
I
not
like
a
how he's like,
doctor.
I'm
I
not
don't
a
know.
doctor.
Just- I don't
so
know.
to make
But
that
yeah,
statement.
so she had like surgery and like Larry was back the next day. Like it was crazy. So one time she just like, you know that spire where you like stab chits on when an order's done kind of thing? She's like, grab it. First of all, she'd like yell it. She's like, get over here. And like in front of a restaurant, like it's open concept. Like they can hear and see everything.
Yeah.
So like you're getting bitched around as a server and like you have to go back to your table after they just watch you take like a licking and it's like demeaning. But yeah,
Yeah.
one time she threw that spire at me. Like a lawn dart, just whipped it at me.
Oh.
And I remember like she dodged. I remember like looking her dead in the eye and being like, I respect you. Like, because I was like, that's a boss move. And her and I had a weird agreement after that.
Fire's
We're
like
we're done.
sticking out of your neck.
Yeah.
You're like,
I was like,
I
well,
respect
play
you.
respect
yeah.
you.
And that was like only one day. And one other time she walked out. So there'd be so the owner had to take over in the kitchen. He sucks ass and he's a drunk. So he would never get anything done. So I had to go to tables after like 45 minutes, be like, hey, you know that salad you ordered? You're not getting it.
Ever.
Oh.
And they were just like, what? I'm like, I know.
It's
I
fun.
know. But I'm like, but there's the owner right now in the kitchen. So you know what he loves? Constructive criticism. So if you want to leave,
loves it.
yeah, by all means. Like I used to tell people to leave. Like that's how bad of a server I was. Like I'm like, yeah, this is
Yeah, you're
nonsense.
like,
you
you
should
don't
get out
want
of here.
this.
Yeah, get out of
Holy
here.
sh-
That was like one of them. But then okay, so going to the roommate story. One batshit crazy roommate story. I
so
have.
good.
One in Lethbridge. One
still
person.
love this
One
so
time
much.
I lived in Alberta and a guy showed me a picture and he's like, I was
Right
like,
to camera.
What is that?
It's so good. I'm sorry.
Kevin
that
knows
was
what the
just
viewers
great.
want,
He was
eating
just
a
like
banana
right
on
down the
camera.
barrel.
Trying to go viral. Sorry, Steve. Sorry, Steve.
No, it's just
so
sexual
good.
assault. It's fine. It's fine. No, but it was close though, because so one time my roommate showed me this picture, and it was like the picture from Titanic. Like it was
Yeah.
like charcoal. Like it was one of those.
This one?
It
Yeah.
was kind of, and it was very like bizarre. And I was like, okay, cool. Like what is this? He's like, oh, it's you. And I was like. I do not remember modeling for said photo. And he was like, oh, you were
Just
asleep.
because you don't remember. Doesn't
No,
yeah,
yeah. And he like did it while I was asleep, and I was like, I don't nap on the couch. Like I sleep in my room with the door closed. So I'm like, he like creeped in.
like,
and,
yeah, I broke
watched
in.
it. Yeah, and he didn't think it was weird. And then there was
Holy.
another one
that's-
in on Toronto.
Oh, this is
Yeah.
just, it's my,
I was living with
my
like
Mallory's favorite.
Oh my God.
it's,
so
I love it so
bananas.
much.
So I moved in. There's like a 50-year-old guy and like a 20-year-old, and she's like a little.
She's struggling
Yeah,
a
she's
bit.
struggling. And like when you meet, like, you know, you meet someone, you're like, oh, you got shit going on. Or like just something's not quite, she doesn't have her shit
Heavy.
aligned, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're 20.
Yeah.
Quarter life crisis, whatever.
Lot going on for her.
And so, long story short, she ends up banging the guy upstairs.
Oh.
Which
Yeah.
is like on him. I'm like, you are a 50
Come on,
plus
dude.
year old man. Like, why would
Come on,
you
man.
bang your roommate who's like 20 years? Like, you're asking for trouble.
Yeah.
And the best part was I can hear everything in my room. And little did he know that when he tried to break up with her, she snapped.
She like really
Like a legit like psychosis. Like I had to go on Facebook and message her family and stuff and be like, you need to come deal with this. Like I can't help you.
Oh my goodness.
And I said that because one time I could hear her. he lived upstairs, so just up the staircase. So she went up. She kept pounding on the door, and he like would not let her in. But he had the door open about like a couple inches.
He was
like the
terrified.
chain.
He was scared of
He was
her.
scared
Whoa.
of her.
Yeah.
He had the chain, and he has video of her face right in between, like The Shining,
like
The
Jack
Shining.
Nicholson
Yeah.
style.
I saw
Just
the
her
tape.
eyes,
Yeah.
Oh my
like
God.
looking through. Yeah.
There's nothing funnier than hearing like a grown man being like, Elizabeth, give me my space.
Get out of my room.
Get out of my room. And then it just progressed like,
Elizabeth, get out of my room.
And it just got higher, and the voice was like, Elizabeth, like, get out of my room. And the whole time I was literally like, I had my door closed, but I was sitting back to the door
in the
listening.
dark in his
and
room.
like I was having like a beer and I was just listening to this. I was like, this is awesome.
Popcorns,
Yeah. I
enjoying
swear
it.
to God. And then my roommate texts me being like, hey man, you home? I just shut off my lights and I just was like, I did not get involved. I was like, I can't.
Yeah.
do it.
He was texting me while it was happening.
Yeah.
So you just being like, I'm sitting in the dark in my room, drinking a beer with my back up against the
Well,
door.
as barrication and
of
for
my
better listening.
room. Yeah. They're texting me. I'm not here. They shut off all the lights, pulled the blinds.
Oh my
and was just like
goodness.
praying for it to be over.
Finally, we did. Like, we literally threw all her shit out into the front yard and be like, bitch, you can't come back. And, like, locked her out because she was, like, unstable. It was very bizarre. I think she's
Wow.
living in the BC interior now, and hopefully she's doing
Oh,
better.
she'll find you. She's coming for
She's
you.
on her way here right now. It's like it
coming for you.
follows.
She's-
yeah.
I hope
She's
she-
walking
yeah.
here.
I genuinely hope she feels better and she's got
Yes.
help. But I was like,
Yeah.
God damn. Like,
Oh, man.
I remember
Painful.
I remember the quarter life crisis, but holy shit, I didn't handle it like that.
I was just in theater school. We were everybody in theater school is like
sounds-
having a crisis all the time. So
why they're there.
Yeah, no matter what age.
Theater's
Gonna work it out on stage.
Yeah, theater
Sounds
school.
cool.
Mallory, what
Good
about
times.
you? Day job stories.
Oh my, day jobs.
What kind of day jobs have you had?
I haven't had so many. Like I kind of went out from college like into
Yeah.
You got real jobs.
what's a date? What do I have a horror story?
I think funnier stories are like Mallory's had hilarious like she's worked at places where she had to deal with like slightly more high profile people, like not with them directly, but kind of
Yeah.
aside to them.
Yeah. And
so you would come into interaction with them. And it was so funny how you tell me stories like, oh, guess who got my way today? And it was like, and you would just tell me stories of like how she had to tell someone who's high profile to like either get out of your way or like, I
Yeah.
need you to do something. And
Yeah.
they would try and be like, hey, and you're like, no, you will do
Listen.
it. And that's so
Yeah.
funny to me. Just these high
Wow.
power people who just got taken down by you.
Bossing
Because you're
around
like,
powerful
I'm in
people.
charge. And it's
Love
so
that.
funny to me.
Yeah, I told Paul Martin he couldn't pee.
The former prime
to get-
minister.
yeah.
Imagine the nerve as a human to just go up to a
We
former
needed to
prime
take a
minister.
group photo. And I had enough of wrangling all these old men
Yeah.
to get into this photo. All the women were where they were supposed to be standing there waiting as
Yep.
usual.
Huh?
And I was wrangling all these guys to get into this photo. And I got all of them there. And then Paul Martin, I saw him on his way out the door. And I was like, excuse me,
Yeah.
where do you think you're off to? And
Yeah.
he was like, I would like to go to the bathroom. And I was like, after the group photo. you
Nice.
may." Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. And he was like, I really need, I was like, after the group photo.
See?
And he
I
was
love
like,
it.
okay.
Because-
And he scuttled back over there and took the photo.
listened.
And then
Good.
on his way out, he was like, can I go now? And I was like, definitely.
Yeah. See,
Yeah.
I love that because that's going back to me getting mad at the girl on the bus. It's like, we're all here trying
all
to get a
here,
photo.
man.
You get special
Yeah.
privilege
Yeah.
to go to the bathroom.
Yeah.
Paul, what's his name?
Paul Martin.
Paul Martin.
Oh, man. This is going to be.
I just, once again, former prime
Googleable.
minister, like, just, like, that makes me hot thinking about it. I just, oh, my God.
Yeah.
John Crescien's like, oh, I'm getting a hot dog. No! We take the photo
Your turn?
now.
Yeah. Just hit the hawk rock in his hand.
But I already got it.
And now we just have this blackface boobgate guy in charge.
Brown face.
No, it
He's
was
done both.
blackface.
He's done both.
both.
No, I'm sorry. Anyone who's
No,
seen
he
the
has
video,
done both.
But
He
if
did
you- that-
the blackface was from high school. The brown face from when? What are we talking about right now?
2001 photo
When he
that
was a
went viral.
teacher in
yeah,
Vancouver.
where that was the shade was not brown. That was like shoe polish black. Like it was crazy
he was
black.
Aladdin. You know,
It blew my mind. I was like, that's not even like
so
a
painful.
shade of brown. That is black. Like that was crazy to me. Which is almost like, did he think that was going to be like, what? It's black. It's clearly not brown.
not-
I mean,
yeah.
that's not the same. It's different. And you're like, no.
Wow.
what's happening?
Ugh. Not to throw another grenade into the hole, but did you see Louis C.K.'s coming back?
Hasn't he tried
Yeah,
before?
No,
Hasn't he
but
been
now he's got
doing-
like book shows. He's done like the U.S. now he's like making his way. It's very
I
bizarre
thought-
to watch.
Big deal.
I thought he'd been doing
Big
sets
deal.
for a year or something.
Yeah,
It's like-
he's been sneaking back
Yeah,
and
he's in Israel right now. It's like,
saying stuff about fat kids and school shootings
Yeah.
and just classy shit like that.
Such
What a
I
guy.
don't know. The worst part, he's gonna sell
What a
out.
guy.
He's gonna make. It's crazy how much money he's gonna make in the long run.
I don't know.
Yes.
We'll see.
Yeah, I'd be curious
We'll
to
see.
see how people react to that.
Yeah.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
because I went to and saw my friend open for Aziz Ansari, and it was like nothing happened.
Yeah.
You know what
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I mean? So
Who's the other one? Eddie Murphy. They were asking Eddie Murphy. They're like, "Are you scared of cancel culture?" And he was just kind of like, "He's like, psst, like I lived through it already." I'm like,
Yeah.
and like we'll see. Like,
remember
like,
he got
I don't know.
he got busted picking up a
Yes.
transvestite prostitute while he was married.
Yeah.
and so that was like the version of that kind of thing back then, I guess. So I
Right.
guess that's what he's talking about.
I think
But he's
so.
also incredibly homophobic on his old
Oh
specials.
my god, I was listening
Yeah.
So,
to it.
yeah.
It was crazy. Although I hate to admit, there was one joke he did do that like is so offensive, but even I like was laughing and I was so mad at myself. I'm
Yeah,
like, it's still kind of funny.
Yeah, it's a shame because he's so funny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He may be the funniest guy in the world. I think. You know.
I can't wait. I hope he's.
I hope it's great.
Yeah.
Who knows? It's a lot of pressure on him. He took a back seat to it for
huge.
30 years.
Yeah.
No one's done that before.
Is he coming? Did I hear he's coming back to host SNL
Yeah.
Yeah.
this year? That's huge.
That's pretty big for
Yeah.
him. Because he did the reunion.
He came back for the 40th.
Yeah, but he didn't,
right?
like, do
But that was like
anything.
this
Yeah.
small.
Everyone
fun thing,
thought he
and
was
now
gonna
he's coming
do
back to host.
like an old character, and he didn't.
Right.
But
was
he
like,
said
just
he's.
you're welcome. I'm here. That was
Kind
pretty
of.
much. Yeah.
You know what's interesting though is like he
Lorne.
admits he's intimidated to do stand up again.
He does. He seems
yeah.
like.
Yeah.
He does seem like somewhat of a shy person.
and he respects it. Like he's like a big Chelsea Peretti fan and stuff. Like he's
Oh,
kept
interesting.
current with his
Right.
taste. It's not like he's like just old tastes. Like
Right.
I only know Richard Pryor. Like you know what I mean.
Right.
Like he's kept up with it and he's a fan and
Right.
he's like friends with like younger comics and stuff like that. So I think it could be good.
I think he's a huge introvert. Like
Oh, he
so
is.
many
Yeah.
comics are. Like people don't.
Well, he has
know
these
that.
he has these events at his house where it's in the front yard and he'll show like a boxing match and then it'll be fenced off from different friends groups. I'm serious.
What?
Yeah,
You're
yeah.
in friend section B, and I just like
it
I'm
really is
oh,
like that.
Okay.
Like Neil Brennan is not allowed in this area that Chappelle is
Oh,
allowed in
wow.
and stuff
Sure.
like that.
Sure, why not?
Sure.
Sure, why not? Like that sounds like the
Cool.
type of like when you're that rich, like that sounds like the type of like crazy. Like,
Yeah.
it's just like what?
Yeah.
But he's a fascinating one to
Yeah.
watch. But I remember like even on like the Dave Chappelle show, they would like his brother would come,
Charlie.
Charlie would come out, and even he said he's like Eddie didn't like fuck around with drugs.
No.
He wasn't into like partying.
very
Eye on the
serious.
prize.
Yeah, and I
Yeah.
love that. I was like,
Yeah.
for starting so young too, you're like, damn, like
And he kind of changed it racially for big blockbuster movies because he was the first, especially because he wasn't considered an action star. And so when he started getting those big blockbuster movies, everyone was like, the guy from SNL who plays Gumby?
Right.
And then he was so undeniable and charismatic that it really changed it for a lot of other people, too.
it is weird. It's like bizarre, like looking back on stuff now in the '90s because you're just like, what? Like Nutty Professor. You're like, oh shit, I must have watched that movie like 100 times.
Yes.
Like,
Quoted it. Yeah.
Yeah.
One of my favorite things he did on SNL was Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood.
Love it.
Oh,
like
my God.
for sure.
Yeah, yeah.
I watch that SNL Christmas special every year.
Yeah.
And he has like the doll parts in the bag that he's stolen.
Yeah.
From it's.
I love
I
that. Yeah, he's so charismatic. And he's one of those guys who's like good at everything.
He
like,
just commits.
like
too.
Donald
He
Glover's
just
like that
commits.
too, where it's like,
Oh,
what?
yeah.
Why are you good at that too?
Yeah,
You're a good
it's
singer
not
too.
fair.
Your stand-up special
not
is pretty
fair.
good. Like what?
Yeah.
Because I think
Atlanta's amazing.
He can dance.
Yeah,
he
yeah.
writes. He's funny.
Yeah.
the weirdest
Oh, it's
transition.
annoying.
One of the hardest transitions I think to do is start funny and then be taken seriously.
Yeah.
Especially not just
Yeah.
in like acting, but in music too.
Yeah.
That is a very hard
Yeah.
like shark to jump. You know what I mean?
Well, and he went from like funny to rapper.
yeah.
Didn't
Yeah.
he? Like that was the next
Yeah.
like after Community.
Well,
he went
and
like he
before
was like, I'm
Community,
Childish Gambino, and now people are like, oh, okay.
he had a
and then they
YouTube
heard his
show.
album and they were like, oh shit.
Yeah, I know.
Oh yeah, I forgot.
What?
He had a YouTube show that was like kind of when YouTube shows weren't really a thing, really,
Mm-hmm.
and it was like a sketch show. Him and his friend, and then from that he got hired on 30 Rock,
Yeah.
just to
Right,
write Kenneth's
right?
lines.
Yeah. Which makes sense. Like makes sense completely.
I just love that they're like, this is who you're gonna work at. I love that.
Yeah.
It's
Jack
so much
McBrayer.
fun.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. It fits.
I miss that show so much.
Oh, me
I
too.
fucking love
30
that.
Rock, Parks and Rec,
Yeah.
Community.
Community's
God, I miss
underrated.
those shows. Happy endings.
Yeah, I think the hard part about Community is just there was so much turbulence that was known about it, and so when
Yeah.
it hit like season 4, everyone kind of knew something was different and weird, and you
Well,
can kind of tell in the energy.
It's because of Chevy Chase, and that's why I love. Have you guys seen that National Lampoon's A Futile and Stupid Effort or whatever it's called? It's like a documentary. Oh, you have to watch it. It's
yeah?
amazing. But
Oh,
they had
yes, I know. Yes, I have.
they had
yes.
I forget his
Will
name.
Forte. is
Yeah,
in
Will
it?
Forte.
Okay, yes,
They
I've seen
had
that.
from Community. What's his name? The main character.
Joel McHale.
Joel McHale.
They had him play Chevy Chase
Yes.
in the movie because they
he plays
hated
the
each other so
younger
much.
version of
How
Chevy
brilliant
Chase.
is that?
It's
That's
so good.
so
That
that's so
is
fucking
damn.
funny and such inside baseball to do that.
It's so good.
It's
love-
great.
There must always be that with like certain people where you're just like this would be really funny, but I'm gonna get a lot of shit for it. But
Yeah.
it's just I love there's a tipping point. It's like it's too funny.
It's
It's
Joel
too
McHale.
funny
He
not
doesn't
to
care.
do it. I can't do it.
Shit
Yeah.
for anything. He's like, bring it. I'll be there.
It's like look at me, I'm fine.
Yeah.
I'm
Do I
fine.
get to piss Chevy Chase off? I'll be there.
Do it
Yeah.
for
I'll
free.
do it. I'll do anything. There's this one interview with Joel McHale. I think he's being interviewed by Diablo Cody, and I think she has her like toddler with her or something. And Joel McHale has like a few kids of his own. He has like 4 kids or something. I don't know. But just she was like, "Oh, do you want to hold my kid?" Or he was like, "Can I hold your kid?" And he just like grabs the kid by the ankles and just like hangs him upside down and like flips him back over. And she's just like, oh my God. But he's like, and the kid's so fine. Like he's just like this dad that just does, but he just loved scaring the crap out of her with her kid too. Yeah.
That's
there's
great.
like a gif of it
I
somewhere
love
where
that.
he just is like, just
Can I hold
flips
him?
this toddler.
Okay, and
yeah.
does
Yeah.
that. That's
Yeah.
like on The Office.
But the kid's fine. He
on The
seems fine
Office
with it.
when Michael Scott's like, "Oh, I love babies. May I?" And she's like, "Okay." And he climbs under the desk and starts pretending to do the voice for the
Yeah.
baby.
Oh my God.
This is so stupid.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, Michael Scott. So cringy sometimes.
Yep.
It actually was. I don't think I could watch The Office. It, like,
Oh, I
made-
watch
made me
it.
so
I still watch
uncomfortable.
it.
Yep.
I watch it over
Yeah.
and over and
Yeah.
over and over.
It
Yeah.
made me so uncomfortable I couldn't watch it, which must mean like that is good acting. Like
Scott's
it's so
Tots?
real.
It's still one of the most cringy
It's
episodes
amazing.
of television I've ever seen.
Do you know about that?
He goes in like years earlier and he just
To a high school.
yeah, and he promises these kids who don't have a lot of money, like they usually don't get to college and stuff, and he promises this whole class of kids that he will pay for their college like when they get there, because in his brain he's like, I'll have that money by then,
Or they won't go to college.
or they won't go to college. And then it's like years later and they call him back to the school because they're like, well, it's time, and all these kids like got into college. And he's like, cool. So he goes back and he has to like break it to them that he can't send them to college. It is so cringy.
amazing.
And I think he offers to like pay for
Laptops or something.
laptops, and then they're like, do you know how much laptops cost? And he's like, maybe like a book or two, and they're
Yeah.
like, books cost like $500, and he's like, oh God.
He just can't do anything.
Can't do anything for
It was
them.
funny when Ivan Decker went on Conan. I went with him, and Rainn Wilson and Angela Kinsey were the other guests.
Yeah.
And after the show, Rainn Wilson came into Ivan's room and he was talking to us, and he's like, "So you guys are Canadian, huh?" And I was like, "Yeah." He's like, "That's hilarious."
Just naturally funny.
Punchline setup
Done.
there. It's like
Yeah.
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 that's hilarious.
Stove.
Yeah.
Do you believe in ghosts?
Ooh.
No, but I'm very X-Files about it. We're like, I want to. Like,
Me too.
yeah.
I want it so bad. haunt the shit out of me.
Yeah, like I think the idea of ghosts are so funny, but like as a kid, scared shitless. But I think it's so funny. Like that's a dilemma of just being a ghost, being like, fuck, I'm stuck here now. And I just like, but I will one of those people. If I feel like there was a ghost when I was younger, I would talk to them.
Yeah.
And I would get like aggressive. I don't know why I thought that was like a smart thing, but I'm like, you're dead.
Piss
What are
off
you
the
gonna do?
That's what I
Would you want to
think.
make
Wasted
the ghost
your
mad?
chance. Yeah.
Yeah, we wrote a sketch about that where like he was this dead,
Oh yeah, I'm like
my dead roommate.
Yeah,
just
dead
like
roommate
the
ghost.
most annoying.
Just the worst.
Yeah,
She's just like
like I come home from a bad date and he was just the worst.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And you were just like, I will burn sage. And I was like,
yeah, yeah.
That's funny.
I'll do it. Yeah.
but yeah, no, I don't believe in it, but I want to so bad. Like magic too. I fucking wish magic
Oh, me
existed.
too.
I would love it.
I want it all.
But yeah, no. Sorry.
What about you, Mallory?
Do I believe in ghosts?
Have you had an
Yeah.
experience? Have you? Yeah.
I have.
What happened?
I have a really and here's the thing. It's like I'm still very like pragmatic about it. I'm like, maybe it wasn't real, but it felt real.
What happened?
So is it real then? I've had a few like weird experiences, and my family's very we love to scare the crap out of each other too, and we're real good at it. So it's like always in that mode, I guess, too. But yeah, I've had a few like weird experience when we were in Hawaii. I was in Hawaii with my parents a few years back, and my mom and I went on a ghost tour.
Cool.
Because I just think they're fun. And the two guides, like the one guide was just like way over the top for me. Like he was like trying to scare people. And instead of just kind of being like, here's what happened here, he was like, oh, they're here. Like, there are ghosts. And like, he was just he was like, and everybody would like take off running. And the other guide and us were just always standing around being like, what is this? Like, what's happening?
Yeah.
But we pulled onto this one road where this horrible thing had happened, like this horrible murder, this old woman, and it was really awful. And so they told us that story, and the rest of them kind of got out, and I just had a horrible feeling on this road, and I didn't want to get out of the car even. Like, we got out of the car a bit, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. I don't need to go down there. Like, they were taking them down to this tree where this horrible thing had happened, and I was like, yeah, I'm good. So we got back into the van, and the other guide was, like, driving us around, and I said to my mom, I was like, no, like there's some, and I had this like, and I said to her out loud, like, no, I had this thing of like, there's a teenage girl here. Like I just had this.
Felt like it?
I felt I could like see her in my mind's eye almost. And I was like, that's not the only thing that happened on this road. Like there's something happened with like a teenage girl on this road. And the guy just like turned around to look at us and he goes, yeah, that was the other thing we were going to tell you guys about.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Did it really just take a step away from you?
He was just kind of like, huh, okay, that's interesting. Because I just kept saying to my mom, I can like feel her.
Whoa.
She was just this young girl and like it was bad, like something bad happened. Anyway, there was, this like young 15-year-old that got murdered on this road.
Same road as the old lady.
Same road. Yeah, they just hadn't told us about the teenager yet. So I don't know. I get like weird
I believe in that.
Weird
like,
vibes sometimes. And
I believe like you can, the Sixth Sense kind of thing. Like I believe that to be true.
Very like witchy in that way.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people just have started like trusting me. Like if I go into a space and I'm like, ooh, like I don't feel it. Like people who really know me are like, okay, nope, we trust her.
You're like the yellow canary when it comes to that shit. Like, and I always get her to go in places first. I'm like,
How are you going there first?
Yeah.
How is it?
Because also, if a ghost was there, I guarantee you, if they would see Mallory, be like, "Whoa!" They're like, "You can have it." Like, I was like, "I don't want to fight with you."
She seems like she's gonna ask a lot of questions.
Yeah. Excuse me. Yeah. What are
yeah.
you doing here? Yeah.
Yeah. Cool. Well, I think that's it, my friends.
Wow.
Yeah. Thank you for.
So stressful.
We did. We went. Was
Not
it stressful
at all? No.
Just the ghost story at the end.
Yeah.
Something about murder really stresses me.
I know,
I don't know
right?
what it is.
I didn't even like give details. I was like, oh, it's just something horrible. Just something horrible happened.
I wish there was a ghost here. So.
Oh, I would love a ghost. I'd haunt him.
Yeah.
I think that's probably true.
Yeah.
No?
I don't know you that well, but I don't know you at all. But I think
We know each other for
that
40
would be
minutes.
true. I feel like we know each other well.
I think so.
Yeah.
I think so.
Yeah. He would haunt the shit out of a ghost.
I would.
For sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
ever go like I want to write a sketch about that. There's a ghost Jared, but he's trapped in the 80s. And I think he should be like trapped with the soundboard. Like whatever was made on the soundboard, that's who he's from.
The Motley Crue.
The Motley
one we have?
We've talked about that before, because you always like ghost stories and stuff. It's always like, what does the ghost look like? And she's like this. She looks like she's from Victorian times with like this long white dress. And I'm like, no. What if like bitch died in the 80s?
Yeah.
with,
What if
like,
she's like a Bon
crimped
Jovi
hair
fan?
and like acid wash and like is that how she stuck forever?
Yeah, she died at an Alice Cooper concert.
Like nobody is ever like, I saw an 80s ghost.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's great.
With like blue eyeshadow.
He was wearing
Nobody
jellies.
ever says that. Yeah. I would love that so much.
Do you two have anything coming up?
Yeah, lots of things coming up.
We just
don't worry
we
about it.
do so much.
Don't come to us. We'll come to you. Yeah. No, we do. We have a sketch show called The Tilt. So we're gonna try and put together a show as like the best of
Cool.
Yes.
like all these sketches we've done finally, and actually like nailed those down, which would be nice. And then and then we
You can follow us on social media.
Yeah.
What's that?
At The Tilt Comedy.
Okay.
On Instagram, on the Facebook,
Okay.
on the Twitter. We should be much more active than what we are on all of those things.
This can be the catalyst for that.
So find us, and every
find
so
us.
often we will pop up and try to be funny.
Yeah, my Instagram is just nice to look at. In general. So
Good Lord.
I can't disagree
What
with
a
that.
monster.
Yeah. I love
Monster.
it. Stove, you're the best.
thanks for having us, Kevin.
Thank you for coming, Mallory.
Yeah, thanks.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to the Comedy Here Often podcast. I've been your host, Kevy. Make sure to follow Mallory and Steve on their social media, and make sure to follow us on all our social media at Comedy Here Often on all platforms. See you next week.